Yeah, what's up, man? It's JB. Hey, man, once again on a Friday, 8:25. Yeah, man, so we're back in the cut again. We've been battling with the competition since the last broadcast. I hope everybody's been successful. We got a lot of work to do today. It's about 12 games. I think the first one on the slate is the Rockies and Orioles. Starting out at 7:05. Got Kyle Freeland and Cole Irvin. Orioles still up there in the standings, of course. They're leading Tampa Bay by 2 games. In that AL East, saw the Yankees drop a game last night. Came out to the last swing of Bader. Almost put one over the fence for the game-winning lead. It would have been a 2-run home run. I think they were down like 6-5. Pretty entertaining game, but I mean, they're just not really putting teams away like they should. So that's why they've been struggling. They're 18 games back of Baltimore. I'm not even sure. I don't think Yankees are going to even have a contention for the wild card. So they do have their ace on the mound today. It won't be part of the evening slate for DraftKings, but it's a 6:40 start. They're pretty it's gonna be a pretty contested matchup with their arch rival, Tampa Bay. So I mean, maybe the Yankees can play a little spoiler. I mean, they had a 10-game losing streak there, and they had finally won a game on the back of Judge. Had to hit 3 home runs for them to get out of that slump. But Zach Eflin's on the mound. He's 13-7. Both pitchers got a good ERA, good winning, overall winning record for the year. So, I mean, according to both those pitchers, you don't really see a lot of runs being scored in that game. I mean, I'll probably pull up covers here in a minute, but Cole, I doubt he'll give up a lot of runs to the Rays. But who knows? I mean, Tampa Bay, they got bats in their lineup, and Cole is susceptible to a long ball. So, it's indoors. It's a pitcher-friendly environment. I won't really break that game down, but I mean, I like the pitchers in that game. I like the under in that game. So not a very good season for the Yankees. They had a lot of turmoil in the front office. They made some trades that didn't go well with Josh Donaldson. They've been platooning players up and down from the minor leagues, and you don't really see what the talent is in some of these prospects. So they got a little ways to go to get that team together. So they had some injuries with Judge, and the Rizzo being out. So they got a lot of issues, and Garon being let go for the year. So just not a pretty sight for a team that has high expectations. You got the Nationals and the Marlins. Nationals coming off that series with the Yankees, and they were able to win that rubber match. They got Adon on the mound going against Braxton Garrett. Pretty much just like the Yankees, the Marlins have fell out of contention. They're 18 games behind the Braves. They are 2 games over 500, which is still I guess a moral victory for them. But they're in a tough division, with the Braves and the Phillies and the Washington. They're coming along, man. They're gonna be something to deal with. They have a lot of good young players. So NL East and AL East, those are not two easy divisions. So those are the early games at 6:40. And there's another game, the Astros and Tigers. Astros, they got their ass handed to them last night by the Red Sox. They put up crooked numbers on them, but they got one of their top guys in Valdez on the mound, and then Matt Manning going for the Tigers. So definitely needs to be a bounce back for them after the performance from France. He didn't look good on the mound at all, man. He gave up. He had pretty much kind of like Valdez when he had his worst out on the year earlier this year. He had one of those. So I mean, it happens to every pitcher. They're gonna have one game during the year they just look terrible. They just can't get anything right. Everything that comes up there look like a dodgeball to the bats. So we get right into it, man. Some implications for the first game. You got Cardinals and the Phillies. We come down the stretch here, so we definitely we're definitely looking at standards here, standards and implications in movement. It's going to make a big impact on how these games are being managed. Saw Baltimore. They won a game yesterday. Um, it was delayed for a minute. They was going against the Blue Jays, and Gibson actually ended up pitching pretty decent. 27 fantasy points. We went 8 innings on the Blue Jays. So we know the Blue Jays can be a hiccup. They can look good and then they can look bad. They shift their lineup around a lot. They platoon a lot of different catchers. They got Bijo they stick in there, and he's very lukewarm, sometimes cold. Vlad not hitting for as much power as he normally does. Chapman moving around, so their pitching is suspect. So Blue Jays, they're 12 games over 500, but they're still 9.5 games back. Only moral victory for them, they've always had to battle the Yankees for years, and they got a better record than them this year. So, and the Red Sox, so that is kind of an improvement for them. They have some better pitching. Toronto actually could possibly be up in the first spot. They just don't have enough of pitching like Tampa Bay does. Even though Tampa Bay got some injuries, but Toronto, they're just a couple players away, honestly, man. They got the bats, man, but Manoah has been disappointing. I think they brought Ryu back, I believe, but we go to the app, man, here in DraftKings. They got a Colorado and Baltimore game here. Kyle Freeland, go ahead and take a look. They do have the rain symbol up here. So right now it's about 56 on DK Live. It's about 56% chance of rain. Wind going to the left, blowing out to left field, about 5 miles. But the rain does digress into the lower 30s, and then eventually in the high 20% as the night goes on. So they should be able to get this game in at Camden Yards. Freeland again. If you're looking at salary, man, 5,400, not a high salary, so not a lot of high input, expectation. Colorado's pitching staff has gotten beat up on a lot this year. If you're looking at any splits, he hasn't pitched against them this year. He's a lefty, so immediately, you think about some righties in Baltimore's lineup, and you look at their depth chart, and they got Mountcastle, of course. He's in play. Gunner. He's a lefty. I don't know if they're gonna play him against um, a left-hander, but we're going on our friends site here on RotoWire, and let's see how Gunner has been doing. Didn't do too much looking up on the last one. We're just trying to run through some stuff. But it's a lot of games, but we're gonna still try to be a little in depth with things. You know. Let's look here. So let's look at some of his splits here. Against lefties, he's batting 213. Slugging is down a lot. You can see most of his damage is against righties. So he might sit this one out. Honestly. Um, let's do a expected lineup here. See what they got in here. On RotoWire again. So yeah, so they don't have him in. They say he might DH. It's not an official lineup, but they got Rushman at the top, Mountcastle. Rushman is a switch hitter. We look him up and see how he does from the right side. Sorry about these pop-ups. They love finding me when I come on here, of course. Oh man, it's that time where everybody they're trying to draft their daily fantasy league lineups. Everybody's trying to sell information. So you got two righties there at the top. Actually, 3-4. Santander is a switch hitter also. So you got three good right-handers at the top. They could definitely do some damage. You got Mullins down here. We look up Mullins splits against left. So let's look up Rushman. So yeah, Gunner doesn't do too well. He doesn't do too well versus lefty, so I don't recommend that move. Man, just let him beat you. If you might get lucky and catch one. This guy's the one possibly leading off. So against lefties, he got 5 home runs, 321 average, OPS .934. So at night, he's batting pretty good, 286 average. Good run in scoring position, not bad. 2 outs, does a very good run in scoring position with 2 outs. I believe he's in expected lineup. I think he's leading off. So kind of what we want to see with him leading off with nobody on and no outs. He's 280, 342, slugging 477. Got 5 home runs, 10 extra base hits, and 30 hits and 107 at bats. So that's around a 300 clip. So he's definitely in play. Yeah, he's definitely in play. Rushman is definitely in play for sure. Mountcastle, you can definitely take a look at him. Baltimore, they're a dangerous team now. When they got a good matchup, they can put up 10 runs. Kind of like what Baltimore did yesterday. that was a debacle, man. And he was highly owned yesterday. France was highly owned, like over 70% in some contests. He made some people close the app real early last night. That's not a good feeling when you're playing daily fantasy baseball. When your pitcher just comes up and just absolutely shows his worst hand. You don't have any. You definitely ain't gonna get first place, but you definitely don't have any chance of qualifying. So versus lefty, Mountcastle is awesome. He got 11 home runs. That's 347 average. That's awesome. So it's top of the order versus Freeland. is looking really nice. Again, it's a lot of games today. If you're in a single entry, again, this is one of the early games, so either you're gonna get up to a really hot start, or there's gonna be a lot of other options for other people to beat you if these guys don't pull out their stats. So they're playing at home. Rushman, 250 average at home, 8 home runs. Got more at bats away than at home. So pretty admirable numbers. So if you have someone that run, let's say if Rushman gets on, let's say if he gets a double, 297 average, .970 OPS. He's good with runs in scoring position. 2-0 counts are very important. Um, Pretty decent with a 2-0 count. 1-0 count is very aggressive. 409 average, 1.182 OPS. So those guys look good, man. Colorado looks good. Santander has been playing very good. I can't go over everybody, but I can definitely recommend. I kind of looked at two of their usual suspects, but we'll look at to sum it all up. We'll go over to another tab here. How about that? And we'll go over to let's go ahead and look up Mr. Freeland. .02 ERA. We'll look up his. We just want to see how he does against righties. Since he's a lefty and he's giving up 20 home runs to righties, ERA is very high, 5.66. So it's kind of like the Corbin situation with the Yankees yesterday. Corbin, he does poorly against righties, and he saw Judge first at bat. He took him deep. Torres got a home run. Bader was the only one that couldn't figure him out. Struck out like 4 times and want to try to go deep on the last bat of the game. But some of these lefties have a big issue with power right-handers, and that's what you want to target against Kyle Freeland. So at night he's a 5.99 ERA. He doesn't do very good at night. All his situationals are high. 20 bases loaded, 12 at bats. He's got 8 RBIs there, double. Even running and scoring position with 2 outs, 17 RBIs to get up 42 RBIs to 138 batters. 10.80 ERA. So he doesn't have the greatest stuff, doesn't have the greatest metrics. And we go back to DraftKings. So he'll be running to Baltimore, man. And Baltimore can be a tough out. Saw what they did to saw what they did to Toronto yesterday. Gibson on the mound. Away games, his ERA is 5.40. Once again, he's giving up more home runs on the road and less starts. So Baltimore looks like a great play. You can stack them, get a majority of some right-hand batters that can hit, and let it fly. See how it goes, man. Cole Irvin, 4.66 ERA. He hasn't won in his last 5 starts. He hasn't won in a while. He's given 5 innings in the last couple games. And he doesn't have a great sample size of winning. He's 1-3. Just doesn't have any consistency in his pitches. Even against Oakland, he gave up 4 hits in 5 innings, a long ball. Oakland's been coming along now. They just playing freelance, and they always a dangerous team, So how they went off last night against the White Sox. White Sox on a great team with a great roster, but again, they're still a major league team, and they put up 8 runs on them. So he didn't do good against Oakland. I'll kind of fade this guy. If you want to look at some of the expected batters, Nolan Jones is a lefty. I mean, he's been playing very good lately. A lot of sharks been playing him. It is it's gonna be a lefty on lefty, so they do need to look into that. He's been a bright spot for them lately. Trust me, he's been playing good. Um, 21-year-old prospect, man. He got a bright future, man. What we want to see is his metrics against lefties. So he does have some sample size. He has some success. 77 at bats, got 4 home runs. Um, Slugging is not. He's over 400. So I mean, you can take a risk on him. He's gonna always get RBI opportunities. He bats very good at night. Grass environment there at Camden Yards. If you get guys running in scoring position, 404, man. I mean, so he's one of the bright spots in that could probably get to Irvin, even though he's a lefty. They got Tovar there, shortstop. Montero. That's Diaz is dangerous as a catcher. You want to probably get some of those righties in there, man. Let's see. So yeah, let's look at Kyle Freeland. Can he get righties out? And he's 30 years old. I just see this as a recipe for a lot of runs in this game. Kyle Freeland, look at that. He's got 20 home runs, man, versus 7 righties. So, his worst counts, 3-1 count. His 2-0 count ain't the best either. He's giving up 5 home runs on a 1-on-1 count. Nothing is looking good here, man. If we go up the covers, let's see what the over-under in this game. This is a game to target. They got 9. I see this game going way more than 9 runs, man. Neither of these pitchers got much juice at all. I do see Baltimore as a favorite. You know, they're at home. They got more to lose than Colorado. I just don't trust the pitching. And Colorado can hit now. They got some people in their lineup. They got some guys in their lineup, man. I'll give you guys one more look. We're kind of going into this a lot, man, for the first game. But that's how we're going to get it juiced up. You know, I got Tovar, Ezekiel Tovar. He's in that second spot for a reason. Says they're invested in him as their shortstop of the future, so he's their guy. 22 years old versus lefties. He's been 264. Pretty admirable numbers. 5 home runs and 125 at bats, man. So he's kind of mid, you know, everywhere. Not the best in running in scoring position, but he can hit the ball. He got some power. He can do a little bit of everything. Right? So he got 7 stolen bases. He can do a little bit of everything in that second spot. So, I mean, we have both pitchers. They're lefties. They can get righties out. You know, again, the righties are looking good with power for Baltimore. You know, the righties for Colorado are looking good. You know, Nolan doesn't look bad. You know, I'll definitely get Diaz in there, get Tovar in there. Blackman's been in and out of the lineup all year. Historically, early in his career, he used to be he used to be good against lefties, but I don't know how it's transcended over the years. So let's see. He's a leadoff guy. He's kind of lost some of his power over his years of playing. He's 37 now. So, but yeah, he's batting 259 against lefties. So he slugs a lot better against righties. 30 RBIs against righties. No home runs against lefties. So he loses a lot of power when he goes against lefties. So that's not a good look for them at their leadoff position. McMahon, we know, is their most powerful hitter in that lineup since they've given away Grichuk and Cron. We can look at one last thing. Now this game is gonna have a lot of implications in it. That's why I'm kind of breaking it down. Every time I pull something up, I kind of like want to go a little bit more into it because I see a lot of offense in this game. Sometimes people kind of don't want to jump all on the first game like that because you put all your chips in the early game and then there's just so much variance left. But McMahon against lefties, not as much, man. He doesn't do as well. He got some home runs, but nothing as compared to righties. 18 home runs versus righty versus just 3 for lefties. So you roll the dice on that. Um, his situation with nobody on and no outs is great. 319 average, .975 OPS. Average is not great, but he got a .818 OPS. Slugging is decent with runs in scoring position. So he's in that middle of the order. This is a good game. I don't advise that you get any of the pitchers. I get the oppo bats, man. I get the righties against the lefty pitchers. Maybe combine a few from each team and see how your lineup starts out, man. All right, we go to St. Louis and Philly. And you got Sanchez come back around for his turn in the order. I remember his last start against Washington. It was kind of a mid performance. He didn't hurt you, but he didn't excel. But he did get over his FPPG of 14.6. And go back to that previous game again. They got over on that 9. Consensus is going for Baltimore, but anytime you got a pitcher on the mound that's not like the ace or he's like the 4th or 5th in the rotation, it's always a chance that underdog can win. So I'll be having my eyes on that first game. It's gonna be really interesting to see. So we got St. Louis. Again, they're not really in contention for anything. They can be a big spoiler here. I mean, they're 14 and a half back. 16 games on the 500. Can they put some wins together to finish the year good? It just depends on the camaraderie in that clubhouse and where they want to be and going and how they want to end the season. But they're going against Philly, and Phillies, they still got some winning to do. I mean, they're over 500, but because the Braves are playing so great, they've overshadowed what they're doing. If the Braves wasn't in this division, they'll be in first place. So they're 4-6 in their last 10. They dropped their last game. This game got some good all-stars on both sides. Harper, and you got Goldschmidt and Arenado. You got Cassiano and Schwarber. So you got some heavy hitters in this game. Let's see how Vegas and covers responds to that. Even with Mikolas on the mound, again, he's not a power pitcher anymore. And Sanchez is still kind of learning to develop his strike zone. So I do agree with a high over under at 9.5. I immediately, before I started breaking this line, started looking at the offense. I definitely, as you guys, if you follow some of my streams, I really am not a big fan of Mikolas. I just allow him to come with those ceiling games and dare him to get over 15 on me. If he does, I'll live with it. But he's not gonna help me lose a contest. And that's what happened in the Mets game. He gave up 7 earned runs, 2 home runs. He only gave you 4 innings. He had a negative .09 against Oakland. Again, to me, I think they're up and coming. 8.9 points in that. He's not a power pitcher, man. You know, if you can get 5 or more strikeouts out of him at his price range, he might be of value depending on how your bats end up. But I don't like to take that risk with him. I definitely won't play him. If you're looking at splits, he hasn't pitched against Phillies all year. On the road, he's 4-4. He's worse at home, 2-5. Identical amount of home runs on the home and away. Pitch almost about the same amount of innings at home and on the road. So got a little bit more success on the road. I know Phillies, they do strike out somewhat, and they are ranked 23rd right now, kind of more over the bottom half. So he may get some strikeouts in this game. Ironically, he's over 100 strikeouts for the year, and he's kind of like a grade above Wainwright. You know, the thing that he can do better than Wainwright is that he can locate his pitches a little bit better, and he doesn't have that hard contact like Wainwright does. But St. Louis, they're good, man. I mean, I can't really recommend putting a young guy up against St. Louis like that, Sanchez. I don't recommend that at all. I mean, again, especially St. Louis, they're dangerous. Especially they come up there like free swinging with nothing to lose, and they're all playing for a job or they're auditioning for other teams or whatever. Like we don't know what's going on within the minds of St. Louis. They can be a very dangerous team because now these guys got to worry about their longevity. Because I mean, at any point in time, you can fall to injury. Like we seen Stone Garrett had a fractured fibula. He was crying when he got hurt going for that ball in the Yankee series. His season is over with. We've seen Ohtani's season gonna probably be affected by his ligament issue. Not gonna be able to pitch. They shut him down from pitching. He might do some DHing. So it's gonna be interesting. He's a lefty, and they have some good righties. Contreras they're gonna stack up. He's going against an all-righty lineup today. He's gonna have his work cut out for him, man. He's definitely gonna get some experience in this game, and we definitely need to take a look at him for real. Let's see if he can. Let's see what he can do against righties on RotoWire. So, again, we got 2 games already that's looking very juiced up for offense. Against righties, look at that, man. Not good. 10 home runs. ERA 3.71. 22 RBIs. Man, yeah, so not good, man. I mean, at nighttime, the ERA is not as good during the daytime. I mean, during the nighttime as it is at day. 10 home runs at night versus only 1 at day. At home, he's not pitching good at home either. So, not looking good for Sanchez right now. I can tell you that. St. Louis could definitely be sneaky. Because a lot of people may not want to take that risk because they can be Mr. Jekyll and Hyde. Look good on paper and they don't do a damn thing. So it's another pitcher that hasn't faced him. So I mean, he's been pretty keeping himself out of trouble. He's been admirably getting like 5 strikeouts majority of the time he gets out there. But he runs into a problem when he starts walking batters, and he's been giving up the long ball. Gave up 2 in the Minnesota game, 2 in the Kansas City game, 2 against Baltimore, 2 against San Diego. When you're only out there for like 5 innings and you're giving up bombs like that can set you back. I mean, his average is 14.6, and he's gonna be 15 and 18 in his last 2 games. Washington don't strike out a lot. Minnesota does, but he's just giving up a lot of contact, a lot of hits. You can't get righties out. So that's not a good recipe. So definitely don't. I definitely don't recommend either of these pitchers. Definitely load up on some St. Louis bats, man. If you want to look at the expected lineup, I mean they're gonna be expensive. Arenado, Contreras, and Goldie. They're gonna be expensive. I mean they're missing new bar up there at the top of the lineup. I mean, if you want to look at some sneaky guys, I mean, like O'Neal and Jordan Walker. I mean, Mater, those are your sleepers in their lineup. Everybody's going to be on the top four. Everybody's going to be on Arenado, Contreras, and Goldie, Edmund too. But the real value is finding who going to get the best of Sanchez as a one-off, like between O'Neal, Baker, Mater, Wynn. I think that's where you win. You gotta take a risk on one of those guys to get separation from what everybody else is obviously gonna do. So, and for Mikolas, again, we saw Harper had that home run. I think in their last game, that walk off home run. I think they in that game they played, it was kind of supernatural. But yeah, he's playing. He's looking good over here in the last 3 games. It's like he's getting his swing back, man. 3 home runs in his last 3 games. That's Bryce Harper, man. They got that big contract. That's what they paying him for. He's delivering right now. So he's got a good matchup. If you want to roll him out there again, go ahead. We've seen players hit 4 straight. He's definitely capable of doing it. So high over under guys, they are favoring Philly a little bit. The consensus is a lot for Philly. I do roll with that. So we'll move on from that game, man. That game that allowed you. That game could easily be like a 12-8 game, something like that. Maybe a 10-4 or 10-5 Philly wins. It just depends on how Sanchez commands the strike zone. Alright. And let's go on to the next one there. Got these messages coming in. So we got Chicago and Pittsburgh. Other than that, Justin Steele on the mound yesterday, kind of running into some issues. I did have my lineup, but he didn't get the win. He had 16 fantasy points, but hey, Pirates they're a sneaky team, man. They can give you problems, and I think the young man Palacios took him deep, had a 2-run home run. That kind of shifted the momentum in that game. So, pitching today, they got Kyle Hendricks, a veteran. I'm immediately thinking, he's always been notoriously known for getting a lot of ground balls, and he does have a start against him where he won. I mean, he doesn't creep up into the mid-20s and 30s like a lot of some of the other superb pitchers do. I mean, when you draft him, you're just hoping that he gets you at least his average to like 15. That's what he kind of floats around. If we go on the cover, let's see what they think about Pittsburgh matchup with him. And they're giving, it's kind of I can see that close consensus because we don't really know what kind of Mitch Kelly we're going to get. He was dominating early in the year, but he's come down to earth a lot. The over-under set at 9. This game can definitely get out of hand. I mean, we know how good the Cubs bats can be, and we know how sneaky the Pirates bats can be. So, these two pitchers are kind of evenly keen to me. We look at Mitch Keller. They're both righties, so lefties are going to definitely be in play against Hendricks for Pittsburgh. So Keller, he had a great game against Minnesota. I mean, he made them really show their identity of why they're last in the league in strikeouts. So he came with his stuff. Where the Cubs land in strikeouts, that'd be very interesting to look at. And currently, right now, they're ranked 20th. So again, you see Minnesota, they're ranked 30th. So the Cubs are below average. So if you look at expected lineup, Bellinger does good against lefties, and he does pretty decent against righties too. So the damage could definitely be for the top of the order. Candelario sneaky there. I mean, the Cubs got some juice there. Candelario batting in that 7th spot can definitely be a leader of production in the bottom of that order. We know Morel is a great play. I mean, you can't have any fear if you're going with Cubs. I mean, Keller has shown some weaknesses. Again, he had a great game against a team that he should have beat, right, or have success in striking out. But he's had some rough times out here also. Is this game an indictment on him, or is it an indicator of him coming back on strong? So he gave him 6 innings. The strikeouts were great. He did give up 2 earned runs. I mean, he ain't perfect. 7 hits are kind of alarming, right? So he just had the 12 strikeouts, and he didn't give up the long ball, so that's why he was able to win. So that was his first win in a while. I mean, look at this. He hadn't won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. He won 1 out of his last 9 games. So he is susceptible. I mean, you can roster him due to his strikeout ability and that the Cubs rank 20th. But be aware, man. The Cubs, man, they can slow him down with one swing in the bat. They got some very good contact hitters, from Swanson, so Keller's a righty, man, so I think Dansby does good against righties. I don't think he's went deep in a while either. I gotta look at his log. He's stuck on that 19 home run mark. I know he'll probably get some kind of incentive if he gets 20. These are the guys you gotta kind of watch, man, because they're in the middle order. They're gonna have RBI opportunities. So again, 13 home runs versus righties. He definitely got some potential there. RSP is decent, So if the pitcher gets behind on the count, he looks good, situational wise. Don't have anything. Okay, here we go. For Pittsburgh, he's batting 308. So his average is over 300, .379. So he got some decent metrics there against Pittsburgh. And we know Bellinger is not bad versus lefties. Let's see how he does against righties. He got 13 home runs. So he's good. He's in play. At nighttime, he sees the ball very good at nighttime. His metrics with his situation is great. I mean, nobody on. He's awesome. RSP looks good. Very good hitter when he's on a 1-0 and 2-0 count. Yeah, so Belginger's in play, man. Yeah, he's definitely in play. I mean, yeah, everybody gonna probably be kind of reluctant to play some of these Cubs due to Keller's last outing. But hey, man, it's a new day, man. It's a new matchup. It's a lot more at stake, man. So can Mitch get can he get lefties out? Let's see what he's looking like. He has a winning record so far. ERA could be much better. 4.22. It's not the best. He's given up 13 home runs to lefties. Alright, so Bellinger could definitely give him some issue. Ian Happ. At nighttime, his ERA is higher. Away, not as good on the road. Runs in scoring position, 14 points. That's his issue. His issue has been keeping his ERA down when he's allowed people to get on base. So, I like Chicago, man. I like Chicago here, man. Hendricks on the road, 2-4. ERA is not good. Yeah, I don't really recommend Hendricks in this one. Pittsburgh, man, it is a pitcher's park. He gave up one earned run. He gave him 6 innings. He's not a power pitcher anymore. He's just not one of those guys that, with so many pitching out here, it's not really worth it rostering him. He's not one of those guys that are going to go out there and get you like 10 strikeouts. Look, he hasn't went over 20 fantasy points since June 10th. So, and with Pittsburgh, they can get crazy. They can get crazy at any time, man. I'm just let you know that they're a team that can give you fits when you compete against somebody who has some of these players in their lineup. I'm for real. Sawinski is a headache. Reynolds is a headache. They got Bay up there at the top of the headache. Palacios is a headache. So, don't really too much care for any of the pitchers. Right now, it's a close consensus. This game can swing anyway. It all depends on who has who's commanding the strike zone better and sending people down. I think Keller has more of a strikeout capability, but if he starts walking people too, it could be a long night for him. So I would say fade both the pitchers. I do respect the Cubs batting. The over on their live is at 9, man. So that's kind of spoiling a little bit more offense. If it was like 8, 7.5, I'd be like, okay, maybe they see something for pitching, but nah. So far we got 3 games that possibly are averaging 9.5 over under in the first 3 games. We got a lot of offense here in the first 3 games. Potentially. Let's say that. Alright, so we got, I think it's Tanner Beebe, going against Toronto. No, Toronto dropped the game yesterday. He's 1-0 against Toronto, 7 innings pitch, 6 strikeouts, 27 fantasy points. He's a righty. So he did very well against Toronto in his first outing. Chris Bassett, ERA. He's got a winning record. Hasn't pitched against Cleveland. He's a righty. So, Jose Ramirez will be batting from the left. Toronto definitely needs to win. They dropped an important game yesterday. And they're losers of their last 2. Cleveland is trying to dig things out too. And they're 8 games under 500. 6 games behind Minnesota. Minnesota's the only team in that AL Central that's over 500. This is going to be an interesting game. Both teams are on a 2-game losing streak, and they both trying to run down the AL East standings. So, who wants it more? It's going to be hard to say. BB has the sample size. If you look at their expected lineup, they let some people go for Cleveland. So they're relying on people like Quan and Gimenez to help out Jose Ramirez. They ain't really a lot of help. Bo Naylor has some. He's Josh Naylor's brother. He has some upside, but he's still got a ways to go. Chris Bassett looks like he got a great matchup, guys. I'm not really fearing anybody in this lineup. Tanner Bibby, 9-3. They got Chapman batting 7th, which is terrible. if he can keep Guerrero from connecting and Bichette off the base, I don't really see anybody else on here can give him any issues. So it's a dome stadium. They got 8.5 over under in this game. They're going for trying. I think, yeah. I mean, Bassett has a great matchup. All he has to do is really keep, Quan from leading off like with a double or causing havoc out there and maintain Jimenez. But not a lot of power in this lineup. I mean, every once in a while, Gonzalez could maybe make a little noise, but he's still developing. I mean, Jimenez has 11 home runs on the year. Didn't do anything the last 2 games, so it could be a bounce back game for him. It's kind of uncharacteristic of him to have 2 donuts back to back. You got Quan. He's sneaky. Just never know, but got 2 hits in the last game, but just not a lot of power there. Only 5 home runs, right? Cole Calhoun was a late addition to the team a little bit after the All-Star break. He's had a little bit of success here. He had a couple home runs against Dodgers and one in Detroit. He's a lefty. I mean, he's a veteran. He's seen a lot. I mean, you can get maybe lucky with him, but he's 3,500. I really think Cole Calhoun needs to be under 3,000. I don't know why I got 3,500 for his salary. But I mean, outside of Ramirez and Juan, Jimenez, not really a lot to like for this team. It's not a lot of excitement. This is the only excitement right here. Now he's on that 19 home runs right here. So this is the only guy that can give. You can take a try on Jose Ramirez for sure. You can definitely take a try on him. I mean, he's always a good play against left-hand pitching. So let's see. I wanted to see what his if he had any data against Jose Ramirez. But to have a 12-6 record, man, Toronto is quite interesting. So look at that. He's not good against lefties. I mean, he's giving up 18 home runs against lefties. High ERA. You know what I'm saying? So I just want to bring that up. There's some opportunities with that. Again, at home, he pitches good. Away, not as good. At night, much better. Turf, very good. So, situation, kind of why. That's why his ERA is kind of inflated, and therefore, because he's one of those pitchers that he's not getting out of jams. So there's opportunity for Cleveland to get some run. That's why they stuck that 0.5 on there. And why they didn't just keep it at 8 runs? Well, yeah, 8.5. They probably think that Cleveland can run up some numbers on them. But a lot of people think consensus 73% for Toronto because they had a better offense on paper. But man, trust me, these guys can let you down every time. A better offense on paper doesn't automatically make you a stronger favorite. They still got to go out there and beat good pitching. And Tanner Bibby could destabilize their offense and give Cleveland an opportunity to swing this game. So there's some juice, a little more juice on Toronto than Cleveland. But I mean, if you look at their lineup, man, I always hate the bottom of their order, but I'm gonna tell you they can get lucky with Bo. If you take a risk with Bo, Definitely want to get the top two. If you're gonna run a Cleveland stack, you gotta do Quan, Gimenez, Ramirez. I'll do Calhoun and Bo Naylor. Those are the five I would take. Those are the five I would take. Vlad, I don't know what his issue is, man. Let's go ahead and bring him in. I mean, that's kind of bad. He's only averaging 7.7 fantasy points this year. I mean, his power numbers are down. I have no idea what's wrong with this guy. This guy used to be. Look at this. He had no home runs since August 5th. We're almost done with August. One double, two doubles. I mean, he's getting a little hit here and there, but this guy, I mean, he should be having some 20s up here, 30s, double home run games. So, baby is a righty. Alright, so let's look up Vlad real quick. Let's see how he does against righties. Cause man, he's looking bad this year, man. I mean, he's like they're not putting any fear in anybody when they come up there to the plate. So he does have a lot of success, guys, against righties. 17 home. He's kind of like Goldie. Like Goldie can't hit lefties that well. He hits for average versus lefty, but his power comes. Slugging is much better versus righty. So at home, doesn't bat as well at home. This is kind of some alarming numbers for him. Much better on the road. You look like you don't want to play in Toronto no more. So runs in scoring position with 2 outs, good. He has pretty lukewarm numbers with runs in scoring position. But Toronto, man, that's be a big part of their problem this year, man. They can't bring in runs. It's bad because I'm always accustomed to seeing Springer leading off. That's bad when they got to put Merrifield at the top of the lineup, man. It's really bad. You can run them out there. I mean, if they're gonna win this game, maybe today is maybe today is the day that that he has a great game, man. Let's see how Tanner does against righties and lefties. If they have any shot of making this guy day miserable, because he's been pitching pretty good, man. If he has a good outing today, he can get his ERA under 3. You know, that's on his mind. So he's getting up 9 home runs of righties. He's a righty, so he struggles against righties. You know, ERA is a lot higher, 24 RBIs. Away, he's not as good on the road. So these are the things Vegas is looking at. At night, his ERA is higher at night than at day. Runs in scoring position, 9.59. You know, he's giving up 10 walks, a couple home runs, 26 RBIs. So you can go with some Toronto, but I won't put a lot. If you want to mix them in, you just go with like maybe Bichette. You pay up, man. You go with Bichette. You go with Guerrero, and maybe Merrifield. If you don't do the leadoff, then you go with Bichette, Guerrero, and Springer. Maybe put Matt Chapman in there if you're gonna run for him. But I'll load up on the righties. I give Toronto a slight edge. If Bassett comes out dealing on Cleveland, and yeah, they get some runs against Bibby, I don't see this like a offensive explosion. But I think this is a game that Toronto needs to take care of at home. I'll be watching it, man. I'll be seeing how they perform that game. All right, so we got LAD in Boston. The Dodgers in Boston. Boston, man, they were ready yesterday, man. They patted Bello with a lot of runs. And when you're a pitcher, you gotta love that. So it's saying some rain on here. The game starts at 7:10. It's going to be about 70% chance at 7 o'clock. So most likely this game will start in a delay. Probably delayed until maybe 8 o'clock. So definitely keep an eye on the weather report. We know the Dodgers have been playing very good lately. The bats have been doing very well. They winners their last two, 8-2 in their last 10. They run away with the division. Even though Arizona won 5 in a row, they're still 12 games back. So that NL West is on fire right now, with the exception of Colorado. I mean, San Diego, they playing lukewarm. They're just playing just for job security right now. But Arizona, they probably definitely going to be trying to land them some kind of wild card there. So it should be a good, very good game. I mean, Lance Lynn definitely can. Since he's come over, he's been pitching pretty good. Much better than when he was in the White Sox, I can tell you that. But his new team, it looks like he's. I think he's liking the opportunity to probably have an opportunity to win a pennant this year with a contender, an NL contender. So where he struggles at, again, he's a righty, and let me confirm that. Yeah, he's a righty, and he struggles against lefties very bad. That's why the ERA is so high. He gives up the long ball a lot, and we know some power in this lineup. We know some power in Boston lineup. I mean, Verdugo went deep yesterday. I think Casas went deep. They had a lot of home runs in that lineup yesterday, and they took out Turner and Duvall like around the fifth, sixth inning. They took him out. That lead could have been more than that if they didn't take a couple of them starters out of the game. Yoshida's dangerous, even though he's a lefty, but he can definitely give up some runs. Let's see what Covers is talking about. They got a 10.5 over under, man. I totally agree with that. Cutter Crawford, they say he's probable. On Covers, it got TBD. On DK Live, it's got Cutter Crawford. But let's go on to DraftKings and see what they got going on here. Yep, so there he goes. And another righty on the mound, man. So, hey. We already know the usual suspects. Muncy and Freeman and Outman and these lefties for the Dodgers are dangerous, with my Hayward, So this guy is 5,600. He doesn't have a towering salary on DraftKings, so I mean they pretty much consider him kind of mid. The Yankees, I'm not gonna really buy into that. They've been underperforming this year. Good for him. He had a good game against them. He had 5 strikeouts, gave 6 innings. So he was completing a lot of his innings. He only gave up 1 hit. He only gave up 1 hit, and I mean that's kind of why he did. That's why he did very well. Let's clear this stuff out here. Get my app back up. So he got something else coming for him, though. All right, so he's at Boston. If you look at his splits, he hasn't pitched against Boston. Look at home, 0-3 at home. ERA 5.95. Fenway has not been kind to him at all. So, if you look at expected lineup, I already know Dave Robson's gonna run these lefties out on him, man. I mean, Betts, he is who he is. Mookie's been on a tear, man. He's been playing very, very good. I guess he's like, nobody's talking about me for MVP. Mookie like, ain't nobody talking about me for MVP. Banned over 300, got 34 home runs, man. Look at this. The man been balling. He been balling. So soon people have to start talking about Mookie in a little bit, man. 21 home runs against righties, 13 against lefties. His average is over 300 versus both left and right, man. OPS is deadly, man. His OPS is deadly, man. This guy is a machine. On the road, not as good as at home, but still deadly. At night, deadly. Everything about this guy is great, man. He's a real ball player, man. And he got a good matchup once again. Right? So, I mean, you can run a Dodgers stack out there. These are two heritage teams. They got a great fan base. I'm pretty sure they're going to show up, even though the weather's kind of inclement, but I'm pretty sure they're going to have a lot of people. Dodgers fans travel too. So, I mean, 12, 23, 24, and 28. He had a 23 and 24 fantasy point performance, and he didn't even hit a home run. And he's been running the bases well, just like Acuna. He got 2 stolen bases, man. That Cleveland series, he was lining it up. So Mookie's always a great play. The only problem with with Mookie, you're going to have to pay a lot of money for him. That's the only issue, man. DraftKings know this. Freeman again, 6,300. Run that Dodger stack out there if you want to. But I'm telling you, you ain't going to leave much wiggle room for your pitchers. Freeman hasn't went deep in a long time, guys. He's definitely due. He's definitely due. You can look up. They always a great 1-2 punch, man. Like those guys can easily get you. Like they can get you starting out on the right, but a lot of people do it. A lot of people pick either one of the two. A lot of people like to start the equation with bets. Because if he gets on base, even with a single, I mean, he can steal second base right there. That's 8 points already. And then you already got bets in scoring position with a great batter in runners in scoring position. If he knocks him home, that's another 7 points. So you got 15 points already just within that first inning of just with 2 players. So Crawford, I mean, he has some issues here getting lefties out. 9 homers here. His ERA is 4.27, higher than his overall ERA. 23 RBIs. Again, he doesn't pitch good at home, doesn't pitch good at night. Not the best with runners in scoring position either. 25 RBIs, 11.84 ERA. Bases loaded. He has 3 batters. So if he gets behind it, the Dodgers. The thing is, the Dodgers have a great eye to play. So if he gets behind the count, let's see, with a 2-0 count, 18-0 ERA. 3-0, 27. 3-1, 27. Okay, so if he starts getting behind the count, even on a 1-0 count, he's giving up 2 home runs. Look at the amount of home runs he's giving up. 0-0 count, 1-0 count, 2-0 count with the ERA. So we can finalize this and go over the covers. Again, high over under 10.5, man. Alright. We looked at Lance Lynn on the other side. If you want to go back and look at that Boston game yesterday, it was a display of offense. Turner and Duvall got out early. They should be way more rested. They're in play. I mean, Turner's great against righties. Duvall's a power hitter. It's going to be a great game to watch, man. It's going to be some offense in this game, guys. I mean, he got to deal with Devers, who's way better against righties and lefties. I mean, he didn't hit the ball. He was swinging hard yesterday. He had 3 RBIs, 2 hits, but he didn't hit off the wall. So I mean, Devers and Freeman are power lefties. They're in play, man. This game's gonna be a good game. I don't know if they're gonna bring Story back. Let me look at Story. Story didn't play yesterday. Um, yeah, he was absent, so he sat out the game. I'm pretty sure he'll be in there against Lynn. And he's gonna be hacking against the lefty too. So both teams look good, man. I like Boston stacks. Boston's a little bit cheaper to roster than the Dodgers. I would think. They only got one player over 5,000, right? You know, and these guys got 1, 2, 3, out 4. Muncie's always in play against righties. He's still looking to go deep. He hasn't went deep in the last 4 games. He has got 3 consecutive hits in the last 3 games, a couple doubles. Hasn't really driven in any runs. So I know he's looking for some RBIs. I mean, he's at 77 RBIs, so I don't know if he got anything in his contract. If he gets 100 RBIs, but if that's a goal of his, he's gonna be aggressive at the plate. If you get runners on, he's gonna be looking to bring him in. So we gotta look at that, man. If he picks up about 3 RBIs in this game, that put him at 80. You got a chance to get 100, man. He got 77, and let's see how much Freeman got. Freeman got 85. It's not bad. I mean, he's only 8 behind Freeman. Now Betts is the leadoff batter. He got 89, guys. So that's why his team is so great. They're hitters at the top of the order. They bring runners in. Their catcher has 64 RBIs. So this is a game where they can go back and forth, man. You just gotta look out for the weather report. We got Oakland and Washington. Trust me, I was in some contests yesterday, and I was doing pretty well until Oakland bats just decided to, for the life of God, they just went off, man. These guys went off. They went off. You know what I mean? So they got a little bit better pitching with Cease on the mound, but he's been kind of lukewarm also. He's been kind of lukewarm, man. So I mean, Milwaukee handled him pretty good. The ERA is kind of inflated, right? He's one of those Jekyll and Mr. Hyde guys. He can be mid and can be good. He got some 10-9 strikeout games here, right? And then he comes with Texas gets blown up. I mean, Oakland, I can't just say they're a team that you can run over anymore, because they're playing with a lot of excitement and passion and a lot of purpose. They've been giving some pitchers a lot of hard time. We went 5 innings against them. They hit him for 6 hits. Gave up 3 home runs. Didn't give up the long ball. Walked 3. ERA was 5.06. On the road, high ERA, 5.32. So, yeah, I just said, can Oakland give him issues again? I don't see why. And they're doing all this without Ruiz in the lineup. Let's see what Covers has to say. White Sox put up a pretty good fight yesterday, but their pitching and bullpen has been what's hurt them. So that's pretty interesting. They got them at minus 205 after what Oakland did last night. So maybe it's the pitching. Maybe it's Zach Neal is the issue. They're doing a bullpen day, so that could be a problem for a team that is not known for their offense. So we've seen recently when I think the Braves had to go through a bullpen day, and I think that one day when New York, it was one of those teams Normally, sometimes when you can't see a pitcher like 2 or 3 or 4 times through the order, you got different pitchers coming in with different style. Kind of, you can't really get that momentum. Can't really home in on what he's doing. So Newcomb comes after Neal. This guy's a high ERA. Look at this, 5 earned runs, 3 innings. Gave up the long ball in his last 2 games. So immediately he's a red flag. Um, so the only thing about the White Sox, they don't really have like really powerful left-hand batters. And if we look at the expected lineup, Benintendi did go deep yesterday. I gave him a run. I actually took a risk on him, and he did well. We got Moncada, the switch hitter there. Robert Jr. went deep. So you have to get some help from some of these guys. Adam Vaughn, he's still trying to get back on track there, but that was a bad loss for them yesterday. They was out front, man. They let this team come back and beat them. These two teams aren't going anywhere. It's just kind of an exhibition game. So you got these exhibition games. It's just people kind of just doing whatever, man. You know what I'm saying? It's the funniest thing ever, man. But according to this, they only got an 8.5 over under in this game. I don't understand. Dylan Cease is a better pitcher, but I don't know where they got that from. So let's look up Eloy. He didn't do much for me yesterday. I had him in my White Sox stack. I was hoping that he would unleash some damage, but he didn't. He didn't. We want to see if he has any success against righties, and he does. 11 home runs, so he's definitely in play. I'd ever say unlock that Robert Jr. situation. He can run it back again. For Robert Jr., you can put Timmy in there. He had a couple hits yesterday. Eloy. And look at some of their hitters. So, again, Robert Jr., he's averaging 9.2. He went deep yesterday. He had a home run. He played well against Oakland, man. So, Jimenez needs to step up. Vaughn had 2 hits. He didn't drive any runs in. That's what you need right there in that position. He's cheap. He's 3,300. This guy he can put up a crooked number on. He can put up 22 points again. Roll him out there. The White Sox stat looks good. It does. I'm not gonna front. They got some juice in the lineup. So, Sean Newcomb is coming in. He's a lefty. A guy's contract from AAA. He's a former Brave, so he's trying to resurrect his career. So he's auditioning for Oakland. He's a lefty, so that's he's got to get through some righties. Even Elvis. I don't know if they're gonna put Elvis Andrews in that lineup. Nah, he doesn't look. Normally he comes in there versus righties. So Moncada's been real mid all year, but he's another guy that could take advantage of the lead of the pitcher leading off. So Zach Neal again, he's a righty. He should be starting the game. Against righties, again, he got 4 home runs, so that's where his power is. So, at home, he bats better at home, and lot better at night. So definitely Moncada, he's just not good with runners in scoring position. That's his weakness. So you don't have to play him, but if you're on a stack out there, like I gave Benintendi a risk yesterday, and I said I didn't even know nobody was going to play him, and that's why I did what I did. He went deep in his first at bat, so sometimes that's the kind of risk you gotta take to gain ground on the field. Um, Cease didn't look good against Oakland. Again, 5 innings, 6 innings pitch. Again, he's susceptible, man. He's susceptible, man. I mean, Oakland got some really, 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 really good left-hand batters in their lineup. This Giloff guy, man, this guy's very talented, man. He's gonna be a hell of a player. They got some good things brewing down in Oakland. They just need to get a better partner playing. But hey, man, I mean, Noda, Brown, Langniers had a big game yesterday, so you can get some Oakland guys in the lineup. That's another like barn burner matchup there. All right, so we're going to the next one. I give the White Sox the edge in that game because they got a better pitcher on the mound today. If you want to ask me who I would take, but I mean, I don't really like any of the pitchers. I like the righties again with White Sox, so that's bats in that game, guys. I mean, during the season, come in there and kind of destabilize some of those lefties. I mean, he just got to worry about not giving up anything to Noda and Rooker. And I mean, he's got a decent matchup. I mean, you can probably roster him for cheap. I know he didn't look good last time, and maybe it was just something with him. I mean, 8,900, man. I don't. Going against a team that's not really playing for anything, they're gonna be up there aggressively, really stat chasing. That could be a recipe for danger. Like I really think he should have been more like 8,000, like how he was back with Cleveland. 7,700. That's really more where he should be. After coming off these last couple, he had a 23-20. He went down to 5 against Colorado. He's been pitching down his competition. So you can roster him, but again, if you was asking me if I would roster him, I wouldn't roster him. I don't like his salary. I think his salary should be below 8,000. At the minimum, 8,000. He does have some strikeout potential. He got 163 on the year, so that's why they're giving up his salary, because they know Oakland does strike out. He could have one of them anomaly games. See, they're 24 in strikeouts. So he could have one of them anomaly games where nobody's looking at him because he's on a terrible team, and he just comes out and he gets 10 strikeouts like he did against Anaheim and Texas and LA. And then next he's like, wow, we gave this guy 7,600 and we knew he was going against a team that strikes out. And now somebody gets lucky, right? So that's what that's about. So not much to fear, but man, I'm telling you, man, Oakland, they're dangerous, man. So we're gonna fly through these next few games. We got Singer and Anderson. Anaheim, they're just kind of down right now. Tiny, he's shut down from pitching. He made DH. Tyler Anderson's a lefty. He doesn't have any sample size. He got a high ERA. He does have some strikeout potential. 100 strikeouts, right? So you want to say, well, do the Mets strike out a lot? And here they're ranked 5. So that kind of destabilizes his power. He's going to have to go against, people like Pete Alonso. And let's see how he's been performing his last few games. They do have a lot of lefties in their lineup, so that kind of helps him a little bit. So Pete's been kind of a downslide after having that little run he did, but he's definitely back in play. If you look at their expected lineups, Lindor's a switch hitter, so Alvarez, they got him probably batting second. So Their lineup is kind of all over the place. Top of the lineup looks like that's where it's gonna come from. And I think Nemo does good against lefties. I like Alvarez, I like Lindor, I like Alonso. McNeil, not so much. Um, that's really about it, man. I don't know how Tony's gonna swing the bat with that ligament issue he has. But Anaheim, man, they're just looking down, man. I mean, Senga's one of their aces. I do like Senga. With no Trout and Otani having that issue, man, like they're kind of hard to trust right now. I was reading an article on them, man. Their fan base is just torn to shreds, man. And kind of bad. But let's see what covers got on this game. And I can't find it. I'm so sorry. It's in front of me. Yeah, so they got minus 135. I kind of agree with that. They got a better pitcher. I don't really trust Anaheim pitching. I had a contest earlier with Detmer in it, and he let me down. So their pitching has been not good. They got, one of their superstars, hurt in the lineup. The other ones have gone back on the injured list. And, I mean, they're just relying on names like Drury. I'm a big fan of him, but man, it ain't, for them to have to. Look at this, man. They're just riddled. They trade for Cron. He ain't in the lineup. Rendon ain't in the lineup. They're riddled, man. So put Singer in your lineup. Run a few mess batters out there. The only really hitter I like for them is Drury, man. He's been the one kind of trying to do a little bit of something. He might be able to take a fly on Moose because he's a lefty, but Drury's he's been hitting the ball good, man. But that's not gonna be enough if other people can't get on base. So get Pete and get Lindor in there, Nemo at the top, throw Alvarez in there. Tyler Anderson is not that guy. He ain't that guy, man. Trust me. High ERA. 14, 0, 3, 11. So he's just a very mid pitcher, man. Very mid pitcher. I definitely like the Mets in that one. I think they're fading too. I don't think Anaheim. They did all that stuff at the All-Star. At the trade deadline, to try to make some noise, and they lost. They're losing their last four, man. It's kind of sad, man. Mets have lost 2 in a row too. So both teams need to win. So the Mets are at home. I got Woodruff on the mound and Darvish. I'm not a big Darvish fan at all. Milwaukee needs to continue to win. Milwaukee got the Cubs on their ass. Again, they won 5 in a row. They're playing good ball. Their offense is looking good. Same thing with the Cubs. They been getting some good pitching. Even Justin Steele kind of looked a little uneasy yesterday, but he got himself back together. But it's gonna be a good game. Both teams need to win. San Diego, they need to get back to 500. They played 5-5 in their last 10, but they got to go on one of them 7-3s or 6-4s or 9-1. They got to do something. They got to go on a winning streak. So the only problem is that they got they got to go against Woodruff, and that's he's on. He's tough to beat. Darvish, I think, man, he's just mid. He's not an overachiever. He has some of these anomaly games every once in a while, like he did against Texas when he had 32 and Philly. I think as the season winds down, I think he's going to start running out of gas. He's giving up a lot of hits, man. 9 hits in 5 innings against Arizona, 8 against Baltimore. Strikeouts have been kind of mediocre. He's been walking, batters in untimely situations. giving up earned runs. Him and Musgrove have been very disappointing for them. They're robbing San Diego right now. I'm rooting for Milwaukee. I'm not a big fan of San Diego like that. I think there's just a lot of hype at this point. Let's see what Covers got to say. Yeah, they got -110. It's kind of bang bang, man, on the line, but the consensus likes what I see. Most people are going for Woodruff in this game. Um, let's look at him. I think I rostered him the last time, and he didn't have a very good outing. I don't know. He gave up that long ball, man. He was Texas roughed him up. I mean, I don't know what it was. Texas is always tough, so you can't really be upset. He got lucky though. I think Milwaukee came back in that game, or they tied it up, and he ended up getting a no decision instead of taking a loss. The ERA is great. He came off of some injury. He has 30 strikeouts, so he's trying to find his way. So we're gonna kind of give him a little pass and give him an opportunity to catch him. See what he can do. I mean, where does San Diego rank? They're ranked 10th. They're right there, kind of in the middle of everything when it comes to strikeouts. He's a righty. And look at their hitters. I mean, they got two big names there at the top, but again, I don't think either of them are hitting 300. Soto is batting what, 259. So I mean, they both got power and speed and capability of hitting the ball in any part of the park. I mean, they got good names on paper, but man, they don't have a system where, like how we saw at Boston, where they just bring runs home. And it's kind of almost like these guys just playing for themselves instead of playing together to form an identity. They put this team together and they just don't have an identity. So, I mean, Machado is just there. I mean, admirable numbers. Can they get to Woodruff is a question, man. So, I don't like to put my money against Woodruff at all. I mean, Soto, he scored 3 runs, 5 walks against Milwaukee. So, nothing impressive there. I don't know if this is his game. He hasn't had a home run in Lord knows how long. It's been since August 5th. He had a hit and then nothing, a hit and then nothing, a hit and nothing. It's been kind of very, very annoying to be paying that kind of money for Soto, and he's not giving you any good production at all. So I see. Darvish could definitely kind of maybe have a bounce back game. I mean, you don't really fare anybody in Milwaukee. They don't have like a ton of power in their lineup. So yeah, I definitely see pitching in this game. 8 over under. I mean, this is a game where San Diego should win if Darvish can give them opportunity to get the Woodruff. And if he's throwing his best stuff, if they can get him 2-3 runs, he could probably suppress them. He just got to contain Wilder, Adames, and Yelich. Contreras, at top of the order is where they do most of their damage. But they're a sneaky team. They can generate runs like anybody. They don't have big names. They have a lot of good veterans on their team that know how to situationally hit. So that's why they're 13 games over 500. They be doing what San Diego haven't been able to do, which is play team baseball. And their pitching has been better than the average. So it's gonna be an interesting game to watch. I don't see a lot of fireworks. Andrew Monasterio, he's still trying to find his way. His parents named him after Andrew Jones. I think he has some upside, but he's still trying to find his niche at the plate. Brian Anderson is always dangerous, very good on-contact hitter. Terang had some big hits in their last series, so There's a lot of potential from T. Taylor down. There's a lot of potential in those players. And then the veterans there at the top, and Yellow, Contreras, Santana, Adames. They got to kind of carry, or they got to kind of spark the light, And then the other guys just need to just kind of play smart at the plate. But there's gonna be a lot of chess match in that game with the pitching. I don't think Milwaukee strikes out a lot. Let's see, they're 18th in strikeouts, so they strike out more. They strike out more than San Diego do, which is a one up for Darvish. Again, he owned them, 34 fantasy points. So he owned Milwaukee the last time he went up against them, and that was at home. So how does he pitch on the road? CRA is about the same, so you can give him a shot. You can give him a shot, man. Again, both teams need to win, so I like both the pitchers. Soto could come out of his little stint. Tatis is always in play, and all he has to do is get on base. You can definitely roster Yelich going against the righty. Santana. Most of the damage probably be from that top of the order. I guarantee. Yelich definitely. Santana bats better from the left side. Adame's been swinging the bat better of late. Terrain definitely. So you can go Yelich, Contreras, Santana, Adames. You gotta take them first four, right? And then probably throwing either Anderson or Terrain. Against Woodruff, you can take, they definitely get Soto. Gotta play the top of the order. I'm not a big Machado fan, but that Machado and Bogarts are very tricky. They have a very tricky lineup to try to really figure out if you're stacking San Diego, because their bottom of the order is just as dangerous. They've been so mediocre all year. The bottom of their order is just as dangerous as the top of the order. And Sanchez can have an anomaly game and go deep twice. Grisham can go deep. Cronenworth can go deep. Bogarts can have a good game. So, you got to pick and choose. Do you want to go the leadoff hitter, or do you want to take the leadoff hitter out and ask Tatis is the leadoff to the line? And you do Tatis, Soto, you can skip Machado and go Bogarts and Cronenworth. Or you can take Kim and Tatis, skip Soto, put Machado, and then go with Grisham and Sanchez. So there's a lot of ways you can stack San Diego, man, but we gotta cover all their players, man, because everybody in their lineup can hit a home run. And so, interesting game, very interesting game. I think covers once again got it's a dead heat with Vegas. Just a consensus think that Milwaukee can, with Woodruff on the mound, they got a better chance of winning. So we got Texas and Minnesota. Got Sonny Gray and having pitched against Texas. I don't advise going against Texas, guys. Sonny Gray's at 500 with his record. He got a lot of strikeouts now. 147 is a righty, and we know Texas can do some damage against some righties because of their left-hand power at Seager, Lowe, Jonah Heim, Garcia, Simeon. I think Simeon went deep yesterday. So, I don't recommend Sonny Gray today at all. Got Dane Dunning on the mound going against Minnesota, who strikes out a lot. Haven't pitched against them, so these teams haven't seen each other yet. And it's a good matchup for Dunning. We know he can put up strikeout numbers, so definitely roster him. Where's Texas talking about? Texas, they are one game up on Seattle. This is a dogfight for the AL West. So all four teams have lost their previous game. Texas loses their last seven, surprisingly. So it's a much needed win against a Minnesota team that comfortably sitting 6 games up. They did win that last game. So what does Covers have to say? Tight, man. They like Minnesota, honestly. Minus 115. I have no idea why they like Minnesota over Texas in this game, but I don't agree with that. I'll take Dunning, man. I'll take Dunning for the hitters. I think Seager went deep yesterday. I don't think it was Seager. I had to pay a lot of money for him. The guy's a machine, man. He's a machine. So you ask yourself, do you want to start your equation off with him? I know Sonny Gray does have some stuff, but he just has those one innings where he just disintegrates. He just can't do nothing right, and that could spell disaster. Texas is not going to be held down long. I know they don't want to relinquish that top spot to Houston. I know they're looking at Houston on their ass, and they got lucky with Houston getting bashed last night by Boston. So it's going to be a good game, man. Honestly, Minnesota need to continue to put pressure on those teams behind them. Keep sticking their foot on Cleveland, six games back. So I like Texas in this game, and I think, with them being the worst in the league in strikeouts, that's a good matchup right here for Dunning. They just need to get him some run support, man. Minnesota, I mean, they'll probably put Kepler in there. He's a lefty. He's in play. Julian is in play since Vegas likes him. I like Julian and Kepler. Polanco's a switch hitter. Those three players can maybe run Carrera in there. He's been swinging the bat a little bit better, making better contact. He got 9 and 9 his last 2 games. He's just not gonna have this great ceiling game. He's really more showing off his defense now, playing for a Gold Glove. So I like the lefties. And the lefties that Baldelli puts to the lineup, that's who I'll put in my lineup. That's the exception of Gallo. I mean, you can run Gallo, man, but he strikes out too much. It's going to be interesting to see if he puts him in there. Expecting lineup for Minnesota is Kepler. I like Julian. I like Polanco. I like Kepler. I like Wallner. I like all of those. If you want to mix in a righty, you can either take Solano or Carrera, whatever you want to do. Most people want to keep the line going, so they'll probably do a 1, 2, 3, 4. Skip 5 and 6 and put Wallner in there. So that's it, man. On that one, I like Dunn's strikeout upside against a team that strikes out a lot. Sonny Gray could suppress Texas, but that's a lot to ask for against a team that needs to win and protect their first place. And again, I mean, he's 6-6 for a reason. Normally Sonny Gray dominates, man, but again, he has good stuff, but sometimes he struggles with locating, and he just has that one bad inning that he just coughs up 3 runs. It's just frustrating watching him. Got Cincinnati and Arizona. I don't like this guy Fowler at all. But why don't you like him, Joe? I don't like him. 6.13 ERA is high. I don't care what he did against San Diego in his last game. He's going against a hungry Cincinnati team. Again, he's 0-6 for a reason. He walks too many people. He hasn't given up the long ball, surprisingly, his last 3 games. But he had a game where he gave up 4 against Texas. But he can't give up a lot of hits. He just had a good game against San Diego on the road. At home, 0-4, of course. 7.96 ERA at home. He doesn't pitch good at home at all. And he's a righty, man. So, I mean, Corbin Carroll definitely in play. I don't think he did much yesterday. Actually, I'll tell you that back. He went deep. But he's in play again, man. It's always a new day for Corbin Carroll, no matter what the hell he did yesterday. Marte looks good, batting from the left side. I mean, get Arizona. Arizona going against Kennedy, but we'll get into the other matchup with Cincinnati. But Kennedy being a righty, that's good for Cincinnati. I know Father's a righty also. And there you go. PFAADT. ADT. I'm gonna show you just why I don't care too much for this guy. And why you should stack against him. You should stack against Fod, honestly, yeah. Stack against him. Let him sit back and see if he can beat you. If you're doing single entry, you definitely want to get some juice out of there. So his ERA is high against righties and lefties, 6.89. Are they playing at home? Yes, they are. And at home, 7.96 ERA, 6 home runs, 12 walks. Runs and scored, bases loaded, 45. Man, 17 and 18.47 runs and scored. So, I mean, Arizona stack is good, man. Arizona stack is good. Get them lefties in there, man. And he got then on his count, 2-0 count, okay. 1-1 count, 20, 2-1 count, 3-1 count. So if you see any of them -1 counts, that's a red flag, man. This got to be a high over under in this game. I already know it, man. Look at the 9.5. It should be more than that. I have no idea why they got -162 for Arizona. I don't know. The Vegas got to be crazy. I would put in a ticket against that for real. Now Hunter Green on the mound, maybe because he had, not Hunter Green, but Kennedy. Why did they say Hunter Green? This is weird because they got Hunter Green over here. And then on DraftKings, we got Kennedy. So he's scheduled to make his next start for the Reds on Friday. He would have been available to start Wednesday's doubleheader, but he'll still get some extra time off. So you gotta kind of look at that as the game nears. It's a later game, so we gotta make sure we know who's starting for Cincinnati. But we go with this guy here, 3.0 ERA. Doesn't really go deep in the games. Hasn't given up a long ball, which is good. Hasn't been in the negative, but hasn't been outstanding either. Doesn't look like he can get strikeouts. So again, looking good for Arizona, man. Arizona stack looks good. Yeah, Arizona stack looking good, man. Cincinnati, again, what's that, my guy? He's gonna look good, batting today. De La Cruz from the left side. Definitely stack up on Reds, man. Definitely stack up on the Reds, man. This is a game where you could have a good lead with maybe some team that goes off. A team that goes off in the early game, and then somebody gets some players out of this game, and this game just goes off, just starts popping off, home runs, and they start running you down. There's no pitching in this game whatsoever, man. Pitching is bad. I expect some bats to do some damage in this game, guys. I really do. I like the bats a lot. Don't like any pitching. I think if Cincinnati, and I think Cincinnati will drop their last game. Yeah, they lost their last game, 6-4. They're 4 games back in Milwaukee. They gotta win this game. But even Arizona, I mean Arizona, they put up an 8-2, win their last 5, but they just going against the damn Dodgers. Dodgers like, oh, you can do 8-2. They're like, we can do 8-2 also. But they need to continue to win because that will help their efforts in the wild card. That's gonna be a very interesting game. Look at this. So they're 67-61, and Cincinnati is 67-62. So it's gonna be really against what pitcher can hold the batters, the offense down the best, because the bats are gonna come out in this game, and whose bullpen can seal the deal after all the runs are being scored. So I'll definitely be tuned into that one. We got Kansas City and Seattle. And again, I go with Cincinnati in that game. I think Cincinnati got the better man. I don't really. Father's just bad. Again, he hasn't won a game for a reason, so I don't see him winning tomorrow anyway. So we got Miller on the mound for Seattle. Been pretty decent this year. His ERA is under 4. Got a winning record. Hasn't pitched against Kansas City. He's a righty. So Kansas City can make pitchers job a living hell. How does he pitch at home? Didn't bring that up, but we will here in a minute. So a little bit better at home than on the road. 5-2 record. Long ball is there. 41 hits and 54 innings at home. So not the best, right? But he does have some winning proportions there. Game log. Let's see how he's been looking lately. He got 10 ground balls. So he had to give up the long ball in the last 3 games, which is good. Kansas City doesn't have a lot of power outside of Bobby Witt, so that does make things attractable for Miller. He hasn't been giving up the long ball, and Kansas City doesn't really have a lot of home run power. Did good against Anaheim, not so good against Boston. He had some good ceiling games here. Took care of the White Sox, took care of Miami. So again, this is a team that they should take care of. I know Seattle is fighting in the division. They're 1 game behind Texas. They've been playing good. Julio was named the player of the month, I believe, or the player of the week not too long ago. That series he had. Again, man, this is a game that they have to desperately go in there and take care of. They can't let Kansas City come in and handle them. Kansas City ain't playing for nothing. They're just playing for pride right now. So the game is in Seattle, and he does a little bit better at home. He hasn't seen them all year, so expect the lineup for Kansas City. Got Perez and Witt in there. Those are their 2 main dangerous guys. Melendez can get lucky against righties. Drew Waters can get lucky. Isbell. So Massey, he's kind of building his stake right there in the 3rd slot. So they're always going to be intimidating. Where do they rank in strikeouts? That's very important to know. They're ranked right in the middle, 15th. Alright, and Miller's he's under 100 for the year, so he's got 89 strikeouts. He had a 10 strikeout game against Anaheim. Let's see, 10 against Oakland. That was earlier in the year, but only 2 against Houston and Baltimore. So that's kind of alarming. So, I mean, Houston can be tough, but we saw Boston handle them last night. But we give them a thumbs up for having a good outing against them. But Baltimore's always tough. They give the long ball. We just gave up a lot of hits, 5 hits in 5 innings, but he didn't get a lot of strikeouts. And I mean, when you playing him against Kansas City, he's averaging 15.9. He needs to get you 20. If he doesn't get you 20 at 8,600, it's a disappointment. But overall, he's been pretty decent. He had some bad games here in June, end of May, June. Texas and the Yankees, that was kind of a red flag. But I mean, he got a 30, a 25, a 27, a 27. So he can get you one of them 27, 25, 30 fantasy points game. You're going to be in the driver's seat. That's going to be a good call. So Bryce Miller is definitely in play, man. The over-under is only 7.5. So he's speaking of pitching in this game. Brady Singer has actually done very well for me this year. He's pitched very well in this whole little second half of the season. He's been doing a lot better. In his last game, he got beat up on by the Cubs, but before that, he had 26, 16, 20, 20. He had 1, 2, 3, 4 out of 5 starts. He got you over 20 fantasy points. That's saying a lot being a pitcher on Kansas City who don't have any pitching at all. You know, their pitching is very bad. So, this can definitely be a dogfight, man, for real. You know, he's been very stingy lately. So, he owned them last time. Didn't give up the long ball. Only gave up 2 earned runs and 8 strikeouts, 26 fantasy points. You can go opposite and play him, man, and he might be. He's always been kind of lowly on. A lot of people like the obvious names. They look over him, and he probably got looked over again today because he got to go. Seattle's been playing good, man. Like Kansas City, that was playing good. Seattle. We know Ty France owns Kansas City. I know he likes playing in Kauffman Stadium, but it's an important game for them, man. 8-2. Very, very important game for Seattle to win at home. They have to win at home. But Singer's gonna make it hard on them. Julio's done well against Kansas. Most of these batters have done well against Kansas City. So I mean, Seattle's definitely in play as a stack. They're definitely in play. I mean, can they repeat this kind of performance in their home park? So that's a game to get some popcorn to look at. So really 4 very important games here, like with playoff implications. Like Seattle, they're right there behind Texas. Look at that, 1 game behind, right? So like Seattle's right there behind Texas. And Texas is playing Minnesota. Minnesota's trying to keep up in their division, being number 1. Cincinnati needs to win. Arizona needs to win. All these games here are huge, man. Milwaukee needs to take care of business. Like, man, them 4 games right there, man. It's gonna be quite interesting. So last but not least, I mean, I do like Seattle. I do favor Seattle. I do like, I mean, all up and down, man. Their lineup, honestly, they pretty much own Kansas City for the most part. I mean, they had a great series in Kansas City against them. I mean, Suarez did good. You know, he had a home run. Like they've been swinging the bat. They've been hot, man. Seattle been hot. I mean, a lot of people they're kind of catching on to them right now, man, honestly. So their commentators they say, man, the guys are having fun. They're 8-2. You know, they flipped the script, gained a lot of ground on Texas when they were losing. Ever since that Scherzer trade to Texas, they kind of been rattled a little bit. And we got the Braves in San Francisco to go ahead and wrap it up, guys. If you gotten this far, I appreciate it. You know, there's a lot of games to go over. And I hope you enjoy the content. I hope you, once you come to this, that you take my analysis as very genuine. I'm a big competitor, and I always have set goals in this thing. So we got old Strada here. He's looking great, man. This guy, I don't know what it is, man, but they put pressure on you with his salary, man. 12,800, man. That like this man Michael Jordan on the mound, man. Look at this, 14-4, 3.57 ERA. He dominated San Francisco last time at home. We know San Francisco strikes out a lot. They're ranked 27th. All of that looks good. He's in a kind of a pitcher-friendly park with the dimensions of that park in San Francisco. His ERAs are slightly better on the road. The batting average is a little bit up. WHIP is a little bit up. He averages a little bit more at home. In 12 games, he's got 97 strikeouts versus 13 games at home. So he does a little bit better at home, striking out, but not by much. But his earned runs are down on away games. His walks are up in away games. You know, but he's 8-2 in a way, so it's kind of give and take there. He has some pros when he's at home and cons, and then the same thing when he's on the road. But overall, he can hold his own on the road. If you draft Strider, you're gonna have to be a draft king, man. You're gonna have to be able to find some value batters, and they are. You know, they like today. You can draft Strider because there's so many games, and they're gonna be some players between like 23 and like 3Gs that are gonna go off and have good games. I mean, like anytime you pay 12,800, this guy's almost pushing 13,000. This is the second time he's hit this salary. Actually, he was 12-9 against Tampa Bay, and he murdered them. But anytime you got a guy that can get you 20% of say 40 times 4 is 160. Yeah, 20% of 200 points by himself. Oh yeah, they gonna jack his price up, especially if he has success against them. He's definitely in play. For sure. Logan Webb, I think he went against the Braves last time. He got 10 fantasy points. He didn't embarrass himself, but he didn't do anything to make himself look impressive. 4 earned runs, he gave up a long ball. He's a righty. I'm gonna tell you right now. I mean, I've been playing Braves a lot here lately, and when I wasn't playing them, they were hitting lights out. They were intimidating guys at the plate. And all of a sudden, I've been kind of on the Braves, and Matt Olson has just gone cold. Haven't went deep in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 games. Hasn't went deep. Hasn't had a home run. Hasn't had a double. Like, he just kind of went cold, man. Hasn't been driving runs in. So, trying to find that San Francisco. Oh, there you go. So that San Francisco series, he didn't have a lot of. He didn't look good in that series either. So when does Matt Olson wake up? I don't know, man. But let's look at Matt Olson, man. He didn't do anything against San Francisco. Let's see where most of his home runs. I'm pretty sure a lot of them come out versus righties. I'm pretty sure. I know they have. So he's got 34 home run versus righties. Logan is a righty. OPS is crazy. Deep night. You see the ball good day and night. This guy's a great all-star, man. We don't gotta look at his. This guy hitting 43 home run. You know he's doing his thing. Acuna has been very consistent once again. I mean, Acuna, you know, He's a typical leadoff man. He's a prototypical leadoff man. Hits for power. Hits for any anywhere to park. He does whatever he has to do to help his team win. Again, these guys are just very expensive. They can hurt you when you buy these guys at 6,800 and they only get you 6 points. That hurts you a lot. They got to do everything. They got to bring in 20 fantasy points, 30 fantasy points. Because if not, man, you losing. You really put a lot of pressure on other areas of your lineup. Like your pitcher's got to be perfect. Some of your other outfielders got to pick up where they production left off. But those two guys are always in play. Riley's in play. Sean Murphy going back to the West Coast. And maybe he might rejuvenate some stuff. So this is a good game for the Braves to kind of get back to what they were doing. Logan Webb's a great pitcher now. Don't get it twisted. I mean, he's not no chump by any means. But at the end of the day, like, if the Braves don't get to you, they don't get to you. There ain't nothing you can do about it. If they seen the ball at the plate, like how Boston was yesterday against Houston, ain't nothing you can do about it. He was stuck in there for 6 innings. He gave him hell, Logan Webb. That he didn't go out like a punk, But the 9 hits is very alarming. He wasn't fooling anybody. Not the Braves. Let's look at the splits. So at home, he's good, man. It's just the road games. His ERA is inflated. So that is an indicator that you might want to proceed with caution with the Braves, because they had Logan in Truist Park last time, SunTrust Park. This time they got to go to San Francisco. So it might not be all peaches and cream for the Braves later on tonight. Braves are in that same conversation with Texas. I normally don't recommend taking pitchers against the Braves or against the Texans, but based on what I saw, whether he's in San Francisco or not, those 9 hits they bother me. It wouldn't feel right for me to advise to play him. He would have to give me more of a sample size at home first before I crown him, before he even faces the Braves at home. I already seen what the Braves can do to him. I don't know what he can do to the Braves by having a different environment. So you have to kind of show me that. I don't really recommend anybody against Strider. If you want to take a lefty, I know they've been handling Jock pretty good. The former Brave when we won. He hasn't been doing good either. But you can roster him. He might get his guys back. But man, this guy's tough, man. This guy's Strider's tough, man. I don't see anybody breaking him, man. They don't have a lot of power in their lineup either. They don't have a lot of power either. Conforto, he might get lucky, but it's just hard to get to Strider, man. Let's look at covers, man. Them only 2 batters, man. It's Conforto and Jock, man. I don't really like nobody else. A lot of pitching in the game. They got 7.5 over 100 guys, so it'd be tricky because Logan Webb, man, he could destabilize the Braves. I wouldn't really go crazy on the Braves. It's the last game of slate. I think San Francisco pretty much fell out of contention. I don't think they're doing much anything anymore. They're 12.5 games back. They're 5 games over 500. I'm not certain with that with a wild card, but let's look at the wild card standing. So right now, San Francisco, they are a half game back. Yeah. Yep. Cincinnati, San Diego, 6 games. So San Francisco do have something to play for here. So Covers was looking at that, and that's why The Braves aren't, 200 or 300 over the money line, and the over under is still low. So Logan's gonna come at him. I do agree with the pitching for sure. I don't see too much offense in this game. You got a pitch like Logan. He didn't do well, but he can still get you strikeouts. He paying 6,000, 5,500 and stuff. It's not a good recipe for success, because by the time Logan leaves the game, those guys may only have one or maybe two at bats left, and you're screwed if they don't have any hits and all they get maybe a walk. It's not good. But I like Strider, man. I think I don't see a lot of home run potential in his lineup like he had against some of his other opponents, like the Mets who got to him a few times. Guys of the team, so his matchup looks good, man. Honestly, man. Logan has a decent matchup too. Not as good as Strider, but because of the Atlanta bats, and they have had a good sample size of hits against him. So it should be interesting to see how San Francisco, the environment at San Francisco, invites the Braves. Um, let's look at the one last thing there, the weather in that game implications, and so the wind is blowing out straight 20 miles an hour, man. There's a lot of wind going out. It's very favorable conditions for hitters in that game. Definitely an edge on the Braves. I have a little bit more of the Braves batters. Don't really like San Francisco hitters at all, man. I don't recommend it at all. So, guys, appreciate you listening to it. 2 hours, man. It's a long time, a lot of games, but we got through it, man. Appreciate you listening. Good luck to you.